Hi, my name is Nilesh Mathure. I'm one of the co-founders of SaaS Tribe, a community and marketplace for premium lifetime deals. I'll leave a link in the description below, so please check us out and welcome to join our community. We discuss various lifetime deals, and all the reviews and the information shared is based on community feedback. We are not affiliated in any way to any of the lifetime deals platforms like Appsumo. Some of the other platforms out there tend to review deals purely based on its merit, and we arrange a lot of Q&As, overviews with founders, and we do our own reviews as well with the community. So welcome to join, and today we're going to talk about Nicereply. Nicereply is a platform which is currently being offered on Appsumo as a lifetime deal. And if you're not familiar with what lifetime deals are, again, please join our community, and a lot of your questions will be answered. Nicereply has been around for quite some time, since almost 2011. So it typically what on Appsumo, you have mostly tools and founders which are very new, and Nicereply is an exception. This is a company which has been around. It's a market leader in its category, and it has some really good unique features. If you want to measure your customer satisfaction, your NPS, or your CS score on a linear scale, that's what it does really well. But beyond that, you can't really collect much of a feedback similar from like a survey forms or questionnaires. You can't do that. So we're going to see what are the pros and what are the cons of the platform, and how easy it is to use, what are the limits, who are the founders, and everything else. So stay tuned. So before we actually get into the tool Nicereply, and the platforms such as Nicereply are great, I do want to give you some background. I have worked as a enterprise solutions architect for quite some time. I started my own company around 4.5 years ago, and we have been a Cisco partner, an advanced collaboration Cisco partner, and we work on complex enterprise collaboration projects involving contact centers, help desks, omni-channel contact center. So it involves typically a partner ecosystem platforms as well. So not just Cisco, it could include solutions from other vendors who are complementing the overall Cisco software experience. Why do I say that? Because the reason being, in contact center help desk space, I get to interact with a lot of executives who are, when they are in the phase of choosing the right platform for their customer experience, for their help desk, for their agents. And contact centers is something which is the heart of an organization. So that's where all the sales calls, sales emails, automation, support, customer upsells, all those campaigns are run through a contact center. And Nicereply really fits well into that CSAT portion for organization, especially. And why is CSAT so important? Because you want to always find out how you are doing with your customers. See, most of the business, most of the recommendation would come from a customer who is satisfied. Alternatively, if the customer is not satisfied, he could also give you some valuable feedback on how you can improve your product, improve your service. Who are your good agents? It helps you identify a lot of different things in your organization. Investing in such a platform is important. It's not just necessary to service your customer today, because competition is tough. If you don't service that customer, then somebody else, and they're going to do things which, if they are doing things which matter, if they are the ones who are collecting feedback, then they're going to always do well. Chances of them losing a customer are less likely. Of course, it depends on a lot of factors, but CSAT is an important measurement for small as well as medium businesses. Now, if you have a very handful of customers who you interact with daily, who are like enterprise type customers, then probably you already know what their satisfaction level is based on the service they provide. Having said that, there are a lot of decision makers in an organization which you might not be interacting with. So it is good when you do interact with them, when they are calling into your organization for any kind of support or any kind of request, then how was their experience? It is very important to measure that. So this tool will allow you to measure a lot of that, and it makes it really easy with a number of integrations it has. So let's look into Nicereply and see what it does really well and what are some of the cons and how does it actually compare to some of the other tools which were available on Appsumo like Feedier or Query, which I'm lucky to have them. But we'll cover that comparison in the second part. In the first part, I want to purely focus on Nicereply and its capabilities. I did check where does Nicereply stand in terms of its existing reviews, because they've been around for so long, since 2011, I believe. They should be having a sizable customer base, and that reflects in terms of their G2 reviews as well as on Capterra. They seem to have 300, 200 reviews, probably over 300 reviews on both sites. And they are in the high performance quadrant in the G2 grid as well, which you can see on the screen. So that's Nicereply. There are some familiar names here. Outgrow is here, and then Query is here as well, which is good to see. Frill is here. There are some familiar names, especially if you are from the LTD world. These are some of the platforms who have started as lifetime deals, and good to see them competing with some of the more well-known names. The Nicereply has a lot of reviews already, which should reflect, especially because they have been around for so long. I briefly also checked their team on LinkedIn. They're based in Bratislava in Slovakia, and they have about 13 employees on LinkedIn. And you can see the CEO is Victor Magic, and I think the CMO Lenka Brosmanova is the one who's interacting in the Appsumo campaign. So she can be reached on LinkedIn as well. It's good to have founders who have a presence on LinkedIn completely to invest into a tool which does not have that kind of a presence. So because Nicereply for sure has a established customer base, they have been around for a while, it does reflect on their professional networking sites like LinkedIn, as well as on Facebook, and review sites like G2 and Capterra, which is a very good thing. I want to talk a little bit about the Appsumo pricing. So I'm going to get into that and the plan details. Yeah, so here we go. So with Nicereply, they have 3 different tiers. They're positioning themselves as an alternative to Get Feedback. And there are certain limits. Because this company has existing subscription base, this is not going to be something like an unlimited plan, all you can add and all you can, because then they would end up losing significant amount of customers who have been around with them on their subscription plan. And the subscription plan is not cheap either. At the max, you get 10 agents in tier 3. I don't believe they want to add any more than that. If you want to have more than 10 agents, probably you either go with 2 different accounts or 3 different accounts, but you're not going to be able to have those details in one single account. There are certain limits. You can see these limits, and and then the number of responses differs in terms of the tier you buy. They're also not counting, because the amount of customers who respond will be less than the actual amount of emails you send. The responses are 2,500 on tier 1, or the number of emails which you can send is 2,500. That's a good limit. You can also have CNAME for every single CSAT survey or NPS survey or CS survey you want to do. You can add a custom domain, and you can remove the Nicereply branding, which is really good. It is mapped to their growth plan. Their growth plan has also been around for some time. Really, it's not something in like where you see in on Appsumo, a common case where when the company lands a deal, they sort of inflate their regular pricing, monthly pricing, and show you the saving. That's not the case when it comes to Nicereply, which is really good to see. And let's jump right into the Nicereply website. So if you look at their existing customer base, there's some big names here and some very well-known brands, which is very, very positive in terms of who they are. It reflects really well on them for what the brand is and how well it is trusted. So let's see, 10 years in business, they've helped over 1,200 companies and over 100K agents did via Nicereply. So a 98% satisfaction, which is again on G2. Again, the reviews and feedback which you see on G2 and Capterra can be incentivized, so has to be taken with a grain of salt, and you have to actually have the evaluation of the platform. However, in this case, there are more than 300 reviews. I would say we'll have to trust them somewhere. So that's what I was playing around with it earlier. I just bought a tier 3 account, and I believe it might be a tier 2. Anyway, so these are the three metrics: CSAT, which is the customer satisfaction, and then you have your CES, which is the customer effort score, and then you have your NPS, which is the net promoter score. So which one of these would you use? What's the best for your platform? That should be your first question, in case if you're not into CX and you don't know what to gather, what kind of feedback to gather. Linear type of feedback, where linear metric, where you can basically, on a linear scale, you can, from 0 to 10, you can measure something. So let's talk about NPS a little bit. So NPS is a great metric to gauge your customer satisfaction. Typically, you would see when you open an application or a SaaS application or any software you use, you'll see how likely are you to recommend this platform to a friend or colleague. And then you have a scale from 0 to 10. And then you rate it, and then you can calculate your NPS score based on, so there are, based on your score. So promoters are basically a score with 9 or 10. Then you have your passives, which are a score of 7 and 8. And then you have your detractors, which are anywhere from a score from 0 to 6. So the way you calculate NPS in CX in your organization is basically you get your percentage of promoters minus percentage of detractors, and that will give you your net promoter score. It is very easy metric to calculate and gauge, and you can do that throughout the user experience, throughout your platform, whatever you have, and calculate your NPS score. So it's a simple way to present a question. So I'll show you an example here. And so here, so this is what it would look like. So how likely is it that you would recommend SaaStripe to a friend or colleague? If someone rates me 9 or 10, they are my promoters. If somebody rates me 7 or 8, they're passives. And then anyone from 0 to 6, they're detractors. And then you follow that up with an open-ended question where, like, how could we improve, or what made you this? What can you explain? Why would you give us that score? Or really any open-ended question, and that's a great way to collect feedback. So short and simple. That's the goal of having that NPS score. And in Nicereply, you can go ahead and do some customization. So you can edit you have your custom question as well, and then you can have switch to color different scale. You can certainly use various themes which they provide. It gives you option to add your logo, and then it has a thank you page as well. And then you can do share your rating. That's a simple way of collecting great feedback and give you a pulse about how you're doing, how's your platform doing, or how's your service doing in with your customers. And then we can go into some of the other metrics as well. So let's look at Csat. So when it comes to Csat, I have also created some examples here. So Csat again is customer satisfaction, and then there are different scales available which you can grade it based on here. And then I'll go into these scales as well, and you can add extra questions here. You can upload a company logo, and then you have a similar thank you page. So that's your Csat. And then you have your customer effort score, which you can get with every single interaction. So every time your customer is interacting with your agent, you can some sort of metric back, and that SaaStripe has made it easy for me to handle my issue. Whoever that agent would be has a result saying strongly disagree, strongly agree. So you can have these options, and again then follow up with what could we improve, which is a very open-ended question, and then typically the customer would give you feedback. So a very easy, simple way of getting customer feedback. There would be an obvious question that, hey, I have a lot of questionnaires and surveys and all these tools which allow me to develop a lot of complex questions. Yes, that's great, and you should collect that feedback. But this has a special place for day-to-day interactions. It will help you continuously gauge and see how you're doing as a service, as a product with your existing customer base. And customers also see that you're taking feedback, and then they're able to rate your service. And a lot of customers will, and based on your agent interaction. So every time a problem is resolved for the customer, it's very important that you present them with a quick feedback option so they can give you feedback. They're happy, and it will help them remember that, yes, I did get good service, and I'm thankful, and this is why I should be continuing with this platform and pay for it as a service, or whatever that would be, right? Or not, and then you can get still good feedback and help improve your service or improve your agent interaction and so on. So that's about it. Nicereply, again, it's a very focused platform. They have some big customers, and you can customize a few things in terms of CSAT, CES, and NPS. So that's about it from a customer experience perspective. There are a lot of good integrations as well. We can cover that, but I'm not sure in our community how many of folks would use those kind of integrations, but we can still cover it. So these are some of the scales for CSAT. You can do a 2-point scale, you can do a 3-point scale, or you can do a 10-point scale. So let's go with the 3-point scale here. Then you can choose your distribution, if it's in signature survey or post resolution survey. And then let's say we go with in signature survey. Let's select Gmail and continue. Okay. And then it will give you all the options. This is fairly straightforward, fairly easy to use. They have a lot of good support and tutorials. They are in CX business. Be assured that they are going to have good support throughout. And that's an organization which is striving for other organizations to do well in terms of CX. So I would assume they eat their own dog food, and they keep a pulse on how they are doing in terms of support. So yes, very easy to set up. You can look into some of the integrations they have as well. Let me cover it one more time. Okay, so these are some of the integrations: Zendesk, Salesforce, Front, Freshdesk, Live Agent. Live Agent, a lot of folks might actually have a lifetime deal for this one. And then you have your customer with a K, and you have your Gmail and Outlook email and MailChimp help Scout as well. So there are other channels. I believe you can distribute it through SMS as well. There are some instructions on it, but I'm going to do a follow-up review, time permitting, to compare this with platforms like Feedier and in Query as well, because there are some good options in those platforms to collect NPS CSAT as well. In terms of reporting, you can see the dashboard here. It's nothing fancy, but it gives you a good metric. I'm not sure overall what detailed reporting is, but by feature, we'll cover that in the next video. So overall, if you want to improve and get a good handle on your customer pulse, I think Nicereply is a great platform. It is used by very large companies, and for the value, for the price you're getting it on Appsumo, even though if you are a small business, it is a good way to get into CX and get a pulse of your customer with every single interaction. And you don't have to really do anything out of the ordinary. You just integrate it once with your support platform or with your Gmail or your Outlook. And then every time there is a support ticket or anything of that sort, you can send out, and then the customer will get an option to give you some feedback. Also, if you are a provider for any as a service platform, then certainly you can benefit with things like NPS or CSAT as well. Do check Nicereply out, and we will do a live stream with them hopefully next week if they do get back to me. I'm also going to do a comparison how Nicereply and its features compared to some of the other platforms which are on Appsumo, like Feedier and Query, time permitting. Hopefully I'll do that second part of the video later in the week. If you haven't joined our community yet, I'll leave a link in the description below. Please check us out. We are a thriving community of 11,500 users, and you will gain a lot from the valuable feedback our community provides. So if you have any other comments, please leave them here on YouTube, and I will be sure to get back to you. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and all the best. Thank you.